and welcome to a Google Classroom tutorial. This tutorial is made specifically for Prince George's County Public Schools teachers because we access it through our email, and so this is the PG County Gmail inbox. When you're on your email inbox, generally you go up to the upper right hand corner where the waffle is and you click on the Google Apps. When you click on the Google Apps, generally the Google Classroom app will be there right on the front page. If it is not, you're going to have to click more and try to find the app. It should be listed once you click more, but sometimes it's not at the top. Mine happens to be at the top because I use it kind of often. But definitely you're going to need to click on the Google Classroom app, which is the green chalkboard with little people on it. This is what the Google Classroom homepage looks like. This is where I have all of my classes listed that I'm either a part of or I am the owner of. The plus sign in the upper right hand corner at the top in the gray bar is where you will create a class or join a class if you want to join a class for professional development or a seminar that you go to. The plus sign is always indicative of adding something. I'm going to take you on a tour of my Google Classroom that I use for my students. This is the beginning of the year, so there's not a whole lot on my Google Classroom right now because a lot of my students are missing logins, and so it's been a little bit difficult to get them on Google Classroom. But I'm going to go ahead and click Miss Renner's Awesome 4th Graders. This is what my homepage looks like. I have several things added, not a whole lot, but enough for right now. This is like your news feed where all of your announcements are going to be, your assignments, questions that you ask. It's all going to be on this first page under Stream. If you don't like the background that your classroom comes up with, you can either select a theme by clicking select a theme and choosing one of the pre-made themes or patterns that is provided by Google Classroom. Or if you don't like any of those, you can upload a photo from your computer or your drive. I tend to just use the ones that are on there because I don't have time other than that. So there are 3 tabs at the top: Stream, Students, and About. I mostly only use Stream and Students. So Students would be where all of your students are listed. If you want to invite the parents or guardians, you need their email address. You'll just click Invite and then type in their email address, click Invite or add another, and then it will send them invitations to join so that they can monitor what their student is doing on Google Classroom. If you click on these buttons on the side, you can email an individual student. If you have a concern, you can check a whole bunch of students and email them or mute them if they're causing problems in your site, or even remove them if you need to. I generally invite my students by using the given class code. So that's this up here in this upper left corner of the screen. It's unique to your classroom. I tend to find that inviting the Prince George's County students with their PG County email doesn't always work. The emails don't seem to always go to their inbox. So I tend to have them all log on and then click on the Join a Class button and add the class code. So that's basically what the students page looks like. About is just a generic page where you can add some materials. Like say you have a reading log form that you want all your kids to be able to see every day. You can add that here, videos, links to websites. You could essentially use your Google Classroom as your class website if you wanted to. These in the box in the upper left, they can see the class drive folder, which is where all of the documents that you put on Google Classroom are stored in your drive, so they can see all this. If you maintain a Google Calendar or a Classroom calendar, This, you should be able to see when the assignments are due. If you post assignments, you put a due date, they'll be able to see when they're due. Helps keep them organized. The Google Calendar, if you have a Google Calendar that you have for your student. I do not have one. This is just a regular one that's attached to my Google Classroom, but I don't use that. You can invite other teachers, say you co-teach or you have a special education teacher that works in your room. You can invite that teacher to collaborate as well in your classroom. So again, this page is where you can post generic documents that you want the parents to be able to find or the students to be able to find if you invite parents. Back to the stream, that's where you're pretty much going to do almost all of your work. So currently I have 2 assignments and an announcement posted. My assignments, the first one I have is the interactive elements chart. I actually, when I created this assignment, I gave this document to every student so that they could type into it individually, which was beneficial because then I could see their responses and see what they understood and what they didn't understand. So again, if you want to create a post or create an announcement or create an assignment, you will click on this plus sign at the bottom right-hand corner. You get 4 options: announcement, assignment, question, and reuse the post. I generally only use announcement and assignment. Announcement's like the popular one. So again, if I wanted to create I'll basically create the same chart that I just added, but I'll delete it later. So if I'm teaching the same lesson about the interactive elements on the Laura Ingalls Wilder site, again, I'll set a due date. We can make it the 17th. That's this week. And then you'll go, my document was saved in Google. So I'll click on Drive. And then I will look for my Drives folder, which is the Awesome 4th grade class, and I will click on that document. You can choose to have the students just view a document. Say it's like a bunch of different questions and you want them to just be able to look at the questions. You can have them view only. You can have them edit a file, or my personal favorite is making a copy for each student. I tend to find if you want them to turn it in, making a copy for each student is the way to go. So I will click make a copy for each student, and that means when I hit assign, all of my students will get the same document, but it will be unique to them. So once they start typing into it, no one else can type into their document. That way all of their responses are private and separate, which really helps when trying to cut down on like people copying and cheating and things like that. Another awesome feature is that you can assign a task to more than one classroom, or you can just assign it to one. I used to be departmentalized, and so I would assign the same lesson to 2 different classes because that was easier than making it in one class and then making it in another class. So again, you can either make it in one class or make it across multiple classes. You can easily differentiate by selecting either all students or just a few students and then assign them the activity, and then you would click assign. So my paper or my interactive chart is being assigned now, and each student will get a notification on their stream that tells them there's a new assignment and that this is the assignment. They'll click on it. Now, unfortunately, mine will look different because I'm not a student. I'm the teacher of this class, but then they basically get to type into it what they want to type into it. And when they're ready, they will hit submit, and then I'll be able to individually look at each person's chart and see what they did just by clicking on it. These are not done because I didn't really assign this to my students, but I'll be able to see what they typed and if they got the answers correct. I'll also be able to see how many of them have completed it versus how many of them have not completed it. And then on the side, you can add a grade to their assignment. And you can, if you don't want it out of 100 points, you can change it to 20 points. You just have to validate your update there. And then you can just simply go ahead and type in the grades for their assignments. And then when you're ready to return the assignments, you just hit return. And even though these assignments never were submitted, I'm just going through it and showing you what it would look like and what you would do. So you would hit return, and then you could see that these two students could see that they can view their grade. You can also add a private comment if you want. I generally only return one at a time, so I can comment privately, and I give them their personal feedback right then and there. So again, I'll hit return to those, and then the students will get them back. And then you'll have a list of students you still need to grade and students whose work has been returned to them. You can hit the back arrow to go back. And then you can also see that I have other assignments. If you need to delete assignment, because I'm going to delete the assignment that I just put on there, you can just hit the little 3 dots and hit delete. And then it will delete the whole assignment, and that way you can start over if you messed up on your assignment or something like that, or what didn't go successfully, etc. I also have been known to create announcements so that my students can easily click on links, so we're not typing in hyperlinks, and that they can just quickly click on a link. This went with the interactive elements chart, and that way they can just go right to a website without having to constantly be checking to see if their URL was typed correctly. That's a lot of information for Google Classroom, the basic setup of it. I'll go ahead and create an assignment one more time and just talk about it. You can add files from your computer, Google Doc files, videos from YouTube, or links to different websites or pages if you need to. You can invite all students or some students, and you can assign across classes or just to one class if you want. The 3 lines takes you to the main menu where you can click on a different class or a class you're in. If you want to check your archived classes, I have several archived classes that I don't use anymore because I don't teach those classes anymore. So you can go and check all of those things on the main menu page. That's mostly it. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to go over anything with anybody that wasn't there for the Google Classroom workshop or that just needs more information. Thank you.